Hello guys, welcome to episode 1 and our second Java tutorial. Just a recap of the last video. All we really did was create the project, alright? That's it. Um, so ignore what I'm doing right now. This is what your screen should look like, or at least something like this, right? And so this is just a result of creating the project, which is what we did in the last video. Now, today we're just going to learn about project structure. So, first thing, the project structure. If we look in this panel right here, it's always going to be on your left unless you move it. I would suggest leaving it on your left. This is called the project hierarchy. You really don't need to know what any of that means right now. All you need to know is that this is where all of your files are going to be stored. And this main panel, this main window right here, where it says search everywhere, go to file, that stuff, all of this stuff in the middle right here in this dark gray area, that's where you're going to see your code. But then, to see where all of your files are, that's going to be in this project hierarchy. Right? Got it? Good. So, next thing you need to know, ignore this idea folder. Don't need to learn that. I have no idea what it is. I just know that. Oh, wait. So, it just has a bunch of files that you really don't need to modify. Like this git ignore, that's for some GitHub processes. Again, don't need to know any of that. So, ignore this idea folder. This out folder. Out is exactly what it sounds like. Out just means, sorry, ignore what I'm doing again. Out is just, the output. So that's when you're like exporting your project, right? Well, once you've written your code and you want to turn it into an app, when you export it, that's when you turn it into an app. It's just going to put it inside of this out folder. But for now, you don't need to know anything about this. So, ignore these two folders, idea and out. The file, the IML file, you don't need to know that either for now, but you will need to know it later on. So keep that in mind. The only two files that are important in this first folder up here, you need to know about. But the second file, the .iml file, you don't need to know about. Now, sorry, I forgot. I skipped this over. This first folder right here, Java tutorial project, or whatever you named it, that's your actual project. All right. This is external libraries. You can think of libraries as all of the tools that the developers have given you to write your code, right? Just think of it like that. And then you can just ignore the scratches and consoles. Okay, whoops. So, the source folder is all you want to worry about in this tutorial. Right-click it. Right-click folders to create new files or folders, right? So in the source folder, we're going to want to create a new folder. So we're just going to right-click, press new, and we're going to look for package right here. So this package, let's call it test package. And then let's create a new Java class called test class. Alright, so this test class is inside of this test package. Now, this test class is going to have code, right? So, let's take a step back. What are classes? Well, a class is, you know what, you don't even have to know about that. Just know that classes go inside of Java files, right? Classes are code, are pieces of code, and they go inside of .java files, which contain the code, right? So these classes / Java files that contain the code reside inside of this source folder at all times, and they go inside of packages. Now, what are packages? Packages are just folders, and these folders are just used to organize a project. They don't change the code in any way. All they do is organize it and separate things for organization. Doesn't change your program at all. All it does is organize it, right? And it organizes all of the classes or any other files you have. Now, naming conventions. What are naming conventions? just think of it as name formats, right? What's a format? Well, it's the way you write something, but it doesn't actually change the message of what you're writing, right? So in this case, a naming convention is just the way you write the name of something. So a package, its naming convention, you can see that it's called test package right here. That's called test package. And we could write it like this: test package, uppercase T and uppercase P. But that's not proper naming convention. Now, it doesn't affect your code, but it just looks bad, because proper naming convention would type it out: test package, where the only capital letter is the P in package. This is what's known as camel case, and you'll use it a lot. Camel case is when you have multiple words in a name, and the first word, the first letter of the first word in the name is lowercase, but then the rest of the words after the first word in the name have first letters who are uppercase. So if this is test package in Java, camel case would make it lowercase t, but then uppercase P, I, and J. So that's the naming convention for packages. For a class, the naming convention is the first letter of every word, even if it's the first word is uppercase. And that's all for today, folks. Hope to see you in the next video. See ya.